Hey guys, welcome back. Good to see you all. I've been missing for a while. Uh, Basically, been very busy with work and all kinds of other things which are more like personal related. I hope you guys can forgive me. Now I'm basically fully back to kind of uploading and being active here. So if you ever wondered, like, where's this guy gone? I really miss him. He's great. Then yes, I'm here. So today we're going to be playing some quick time control games. Well, not very quick. Basically, I select a 5+3 game. Oh, I'm sorry, only chess. Oh, what happened? As you can see, the game already starts. So I will probably have to start it at some point. Let's make at least the first move. I do want to give a quick shout out to my newly released chess course on positional chess sacrifices. It's a topic really dear to me. It's something I really like talking about and doing in my own games. So this is a very kind of well structured course, lots of examples, and basically I wanted to present some ideas from that course. So what I'm going to be doing in these games that I'm going to be playing today is try as much as possible, when possible, if possible, to sacrifice some of my own materials. It might be a pawn, it might be a piece, in order to gain some positional advantages that can serve me later on in the game, and not necessarily thinking about the position in terms of whether I do have more or less material. That's less critical right now. So we will be focusing basically on the activity of our pieces, the long term things that we can get from our sacrifices, like a better structure or maybe a better king position, better placed pieces. We'll see how it goes. At the moment, I can tell you guys that this is the so called English opening. White playing the setup with the pawn on c4, trying to develop his bishop on g2. And I chose to do a similar type of setup with the bishop, the knight, and the pawn. You can see that all of those guys are directly pointing at the center, at the square on d4. So black has a very firm control over the center. But white decides to delay the development of his bishop on g2, which I personally find to be a little bit strange because at some point he will have to play bishop to g2. So I'm currently going to just keep on my normal development, sorry. And I'm going to seize the opportunity since my opponent played a little bit slow in the opening. I'm going to play extra ambitious. I'm going to open up the center of the board. Usually it's not a very good idea to open up the center of the board when you are playing the black pieces. Normally you have one tempo down compared with your opponent because white starts the game off. But because he chose to play such slow moves like all of this that he's now currently doing, I think that opening up the center should be beneficial for me. So this maneuver of the knight on c4 is kind of reasonable. The knight is well placed. I don't really want to kick it away with b5 because then my pawn structure will be slightly compromised. My pawns wouldn't be that well defended. I do want to solve the problem of this undeveloped bishop on c8, so I'm going to be playing b6. My idea is to position this bishop on b7, and in the long run he will kind of diffuse white's activity on the same diagonal. Um, so this is uh, this is basically going to be probably my plan for the next few moves. Get my bishop developed. Then probably I will also would like to develop my queen in order to connect my rooks. Possibly d7 or maybe c7. Both are very reasonable. And I think white might have a small problem developing his dark square bishop. Ideally, he would like to make a move like bishop d2 here, thinking about maybe preparing a pawn break on the queen side with pawn to b4. But the problem is when he plays bishop d2, I might consider actually using the fact that this pawn on b2 is not defended anymore to play a move such as pawn to b5. Kind of forcing that knight to go away there. So he's going So he did play bishop d2, which is provocative, because now if I want, I think I can win a pawn with the move b5, but let's calculate. So b5, he must play knight to e3, there is no other square. If I take on b2, he probably will play rook b1, and then he will recapture my pawn on b5, and I think my pawn on b5 is probably more valuable than the pawn on b2. Yeah, I'll probably decline taking that pawn. Also, our theme of the video is sacrificing material, sacrificing pawns, not taking pawns. Taking pawns is for weak people. So, just joking. So let's play pawn to a5. Basically, I want to stop him from ever pushing b4, because if white manages to push his pawn to b4, he might be able to create some weaknesses on my side. That's why I want to put my pawn on a4, with the idea that if he ever pushes his own pawn there, I might take it, and I will be the one creating some weaknesses. Namely, this pawn on a3 will become a target for me to attack on the open file. So that's probably going to be a positive thing. So queen c2, he also wants to connect his rooks. Very well. And now I'm kind of not sure whether I want to push b5 or not. Once again, probably not, because it will be very severely weakening my pawn on c5. So I kind of like the move rook to a6, safeguarding my pawn on b6. It's a little bit of a weird looking move, I would say, but I have basically two pawns which are slightly sensitive, that pawn on a4 and that pawn on b6, and I want to be able to develop my queen at some point. But if I move away my queen immediately, then the pawn on b6 might be hanging in some variations, as the queen might no longer defend that. So I think the move rook a6 makes quite a lot of sense, actually. So my idea for the next moves might be to play something like queen d7, also activating my other rook. Bishop c3, well, I didn't really anticipate this move. I don't think I would play such a move. Not necessarily a bad move. He wants to exchange my good bishop on g7, but he's willing to give up his own bishop for my knight. But if I take it, he gets some activity on the open file. So I probably wouldn't want to do that. But what do I want to do? That's a tough question, I must say. Let's play f6. I know it's a weird looking move, blocking my own bishop, but the idea is to be able to perhaps expand in the center with e5, thus making his own bishop a pretty bad piece. Yeah, now he plays e4, which really provokes me to take on c3, but I still don't want to do that, so I'll have to go knight c7. And now you see how useful was the move rook a6, because if I wouldn't make this move, then now my pawn on b6 would be badly hanging. So yeah, rook a6, pretty useful. Potentially my idea for the next move might be maneuvering my knight towards d4. You can see that when he played this e4 move, he pretty severely weakened his central square on d4. That's a really nice outpost for this knight. He might come via b5, he might come via e6. Also, if I ever want to kind of improve the position of this bishop on g7, which is slightly blocked by now, I can always consider a move like bishop h6 if needed. Yeah, so he's playing knight e3. It's a sensible move, eyeballing the square on d5. Now if I play this move, he might go knight d5, even though I must say knight d5 I can always push it in one move with e6, so perhaps I'm not that worried about that. I still have a few useful moves to make. King h8 is one of them. Getting my king out of this exposed diagonal. I think I'll do it right now. I think it's a good moment to do such a move. White's plan, on the other hand, I think should be either thinking about pushing d4 at some point, getting rid of that backward pawn on d3 that you can see. So this could be achieved, for example, with a move like rook d1, followed by d4. Another option for him to get some play is to play a move like b3, trying to open up the b file. Knight d5, okay. That is very surprising to me. I didn't think he can really do that. So what's the idea? So what if I take another time? He probably wants to exploit these discovered attacks on the queen, but I think he's missing something. Hopefully, if he doesn't see that, we will be able to exploit some nice tactics. So if, for example, white plays a move like knight e5 or knight d4, which is I think even better. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So he's thinking that he's going to exploit that discovered attack, but can you, the viewers, notice what kind of tactical mistake white committed right now? If you want to pause the video, think about it. I will suggest you to do that. In the meanwhile, boom. And now check. Discovered attack. Not only white can make discovered attacks. And now what essentially is going to happen is that white is going to lose a piece because yeah, he decides to resign instantly because he's going to lose his queen, and then he will just remain a piece down with a very, very bad position. So I can kind of understand his point of view. Actually, I must say that he played a pretty solid game up to the point where he played knight d5. I think if white is not doing this mistake with knight d5, the position is okay for white. Let's see what the engine has to say. The engine says, yeah, about equal. He's saying that the best move is b3, like I've said. Position is about even. Both sides has pretty well placed pieces, and the game would be still kind of still going. Nothing special would happen. But after the move knight d5, the engine now says that suddenly the position is just very bad for white, and yeah, knight e5 is already losing after the move queen takes g2. Perfect. So first of all, thank you guys for tuning in. I think that the guys watching this video are probably also the women, of course. Actually, when I opened this channel, I kind of anticipated having mostly women watching me, but you know, life works otherwise. So this video is definitely going to be not the only one published that are going to be published in the coming time. So really want to thank all of the loyal viewers that, even though I've been missing for some time, not uploading that consistently, still had the kind of the will to watch and learn some good chess. Also, I wanted to seize the chance to give you guys once again a note about my new released course. I work for the Remote Chess Academy. As you can see, this little banner on the right side. This is a course about positional chess sacrifices. In this game, I didn't really have a chance to do that. If you don't count the move queen takes g2, which was just a tactical winning move, so I cannot really count that as a positional sacrifice. But if you go now, click on the link that I'll leave in the description. Not only this purchase will improve your chess greatly, every purchase of this will support the channel. If you're kind of thinking to yourself, yeah, this guy is pretty great, I'm learning a lot from him and I want to support him, that's one way to do that. So that would be greatly appreciated, and definitely going to see more in the coming time. So really want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Cheers.